let's get it cracking, man. We've got a new host today. Me, myself, Jalen. You know, obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but we're not going to start with welcome to the Rondo today. We might come up with a new phrase. What do you guys feel like saying since we got free reign today? Nothing?
Kick off.
Yeah, man, all right, cool. We'll work on that one, man. But yeah, so we're with Joe today, Arsenal fan. Alphonso from Spurs. You know, obviously he's decided to pick this week to turn up, even though he never ever comes any other time. But, you know, it's all good. Anyway, guys, what's your thoughts on the game today? Obviously, we had a big North London derby, which is the reason why you're both here. 2-2. Arsenal fans might be a bit, you know, annoyed. I know the Spurs fans are over the moon, but I'm interested to get both of your thoughts before we dive into the deeper stuff. So who wants to go first?
Go on, Joel.
I'll go first then. As an Arsenal perspective, obviously, it's not great to obviously not win at home, especially in this kind of derby game. You want to beat Spurs at home every time you play them. I think on the balance of the game, a draw was a fair result. I think the first half, before we scored, we were probably the better team. I think we had more the ball, we were more dominant. But I think we lost something midway through the first half, and then the subs at halftime due to injury or whatever, when Rice went off the pitch, it changed everything really. And then from there, the midfield battle, we couldn't get it back. I think Tottenham, credit to Tottenham, credit to Ange for continuing to play the way they play, because they play some really good football. They pressed really well. They moved the ball really well. The build-up play was really good. And it's frustrating when we got to 2-1. It's like, all right, cool. We're back in front. Let's just hold it down for a bit before we play expansive football again. Jorginho just gives the ball away and he scores straight away. So if you look at it in that way, obviously we were winning and we drew the game, so we're not happy. But a point is not, it's not a terrible point, but you would have liked to have won the game, but credit to Tottenham, innit? So
Alphonso?
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that Spurs fans are over the moon. It's a bit too much. We are like happy with the result. Like it's obvious you guys are 4 years into your thing with Arteta. This is Ange's sixth game in the Prem with us. And of course, playing at the Emirates is going to be a bit more of a challenge. But we went there and we played our football. I remember the group chat, I'm sure it was you, Jalen, asking me, oh, do you think that Spurs will play the football they're going to play at the Emirates? And I said, yeah, we probably will, because that's the only way Ange can play. And we did. And yeah, even like the way he was being pressed in that first half, you guys were pressing us like crazy. But we didn't like just waver or like stop or get scared. We persisted with it, even in times where it almost caused that Jesus chance he should have taken and a few other chances. But yeah, the boys played well. Yeah, man. It's the second half as well. Second half, it was just such a breath of fresh air to see the boys playing like that. Such confidence as well, even especially Udogie. That first half against Saka, he was struggling a bit and like made that challenge. Got a yellow card. I was thinking he got to play now a whole game against Saka on a yellow. But second half, he managed it a lot better. So, yeah, I'm content.
I think from my own personal thoughts, you know, it's a bit of, there's two ways of looking at it, right? Like there's things that Arsenal done that I feel like we let you guys off the hook a little bit. You mentioned Odegaard, for example. Saka was really getting the better of him towards the end of the first half, and it just felt like every time our midfielders got the ball, we were looking for Saka, because it seemed like the aim was to get him on the ropes. He looked a little bit anxious, maybe get a second yellow. Second half, there was none of that. I don't remember Saka going at Udogie once in the second half. I don't even think he really got the ball in that position. So I do feel like Arsenal, you know, as much as we've made progress, we haven't hit that level yet where we are a ruthless clinical side. I look at like Bayern Munich, for example. Bayern will get to 2-0. They'll finish off the game, bro. They're going 3, 4, 5. Arsenal, we're not there yet. Do you get what I'm saying? So even Man City, the same thing. I feel like we kind of let you off. But as you said, the confidence I feel like that you guys showed in the second half was something that you guys can definitely take from the game. I wanted to touch on, obviously, the manager. Everyone has spoken about him a lot this season. Obviously, he's come and, you know, implemented this beautiful style of football that you guys are playing now. What's your thoughts on him so far? I know the Spurs fans are obviously very, very excited about him, but is he the right man to take you guys long term to wherever your aspirations are? I don't even know what they are, to be fair. But
that's a time can tell question, isn't it? Like, I'm not sure. But at the moment, I've never seen a manager come in and so quickly have a big change in us. Even I remember the pre-season game against Barcelona, and he's playing really good football there, and I was so surprised. When you're thinking, okay, it's a pre-season game, whatever. Mm-hmm. But all the games so far in the Prem has been the exact same. And he said in his interviews that he only has one way of playing, and that is like front foot football. The whole idea of not playing with a ball doesn't make sense to him, or playing just to kind of counter doesn't make sense to him. So he's someone who's taken the game to teams. And the past few years with Nuno, Mourinho and Conte, that's not been the case. So that's why, in a way, this season has been like a free hit for him, because all you have to do is just play attacking football, just play football that fans are going to enjoy and we'll be on your side. But he's doing that and getting results. So
when you say it's a free hit, what exactly do you mean by that? So, for example, if you guys were to continue playing this style of football and you finish, say, 8th or 9th in the table, what does that mean for you?
8th or 9th's not great, but
it's not really a free hit then. So what's like?
No, but
you still have targets, like.
Yeah, what are the targets?
But then our targets just not really. I don't think we have set out targets at the moment. Like, not right now. I think as season goes forward, then okay, we're here right now. We should be aiming for this. But right now, I don't think it's any like we have to finish in top 4, top 6. There's none of that at the moment. Not from my side anyway. Yeah. It's just about us playing that football and then seeing where we are come December. Whatever.
I think they have no excuses from that. You're not in Europe, are you?
No.
You got 1 game a week.
Yeah.
You got enough time on a training pitch to implement your style. You can get your team set up. You can have your best team playing every week. I think you've got to be aiming for at least top 6. I think you've got to at least set that target because you have the advantage of 1 game a week.
That's just like no need to do that. Like,
why not?
If it happens and we're going to aim for that, we're going to aim to finish as high as we can.
Sounds a lot like
we don't need to go
20 years ago.
We don't need to go, oh yeah, we got to get top 6. That's just unnecessary because we don't need to get it.
What do you mean you don't need to though?
Why do you need to get it?
Why not?
Because why not? Like,
surely the aim has to be top 6. Surely, like.
But I don't think there's a set out aim for us. Like I said, we'll manage.
But that's why I asked you. I said to you, so if you were to finish,
16's better than you.
No, not the way we're playing at the moment.
Okay then.
Okay, well, no. I also wanted to touch on. A lot of people have put down this success. Well, I say success. I mean, Conte had a great start to the season last year as well. But a lot of people put it down to obviously the manager. I also wanted to just touch on. Do you feel like there's 2 things I want to ask you? Do you feel like Harry Kane's departure has contributed to, players taking a bit more responsibility in the side and maybe just playing with a bit more freedom, without having him there? I think a lot of guys have had to step up. I don't know who in particular you would probably refer to that has stepped up the most. I think Son has therefore come in and therefore just showed a lot more leadership signs than he has before. Even the way that he pushed Charlison towards the fans last week, I think it was a nice touch. So do you think there's an element of that as well?
Yeah, definitely. I would have loved to see Kane playing at Angeable. Seeing this now, I would love to think how Kane would have played in this team. But yeah, I think the big shift as well has been, we were speaking about Lloris earlier. Like prior, we had like Lloris, Dyer and Kane as big parts of our leadership group. They're all like gone. And now we have Son, Romero and Maddison, who are like the new face of the team. And you can just tell everyone knows where to step up. Maddison said it as well, like he wanted to play with Kane, but Kane's gone, so we all have to step up. That's a big and a good thing for everyone. Everyone knows that they can't just rely on Kane to do whatever he does.
For sure.
It's about what we can do as a team and what we can do to push forward. So yeah,
and that kind of brings me on to the next question. So, obviously the manager has come in, probably discuss with the higher ups, the style of football that he wants to play, the type of players that he's targeting. Did the higher ups also need a bit of credit as well for bringing in the right type of players? Because I know you've been critical of them,
and the right manager.
The type of players that they have brought in, you look at like the goalkeeper today was very good on the ball. I thought, obviously the left back, Odegaard, very good on the ball. Obviously had a test against Saka today, but any fullback would. Porro he didn't bring in, but again, what he's done with him in terms of the role that he's brought him in. I mean, there's a couple guys there that have come in that Ange might have wanted, but therefore I feel like the higher ups also need a bit of credit.
Yeah, the higher ups being like Paratici, who's no longer with us. He's doing a bird, but yeah, like he got these guys from Italy, like Vicario, Udogi, all from Italy, and they've both just come into the team, have been brilliant. So yeah, he does deserve some praise as well. In regards to Levy deserving praise, we're not there yet. But like Ange has worked out as an appointment.
Yeah.
Now it's about backing Ange. A lot of Spurs fans have a lot of bad things to say about Conte and Mourinho. But my big thing with them, if you're going to get win now managers in, back them now.
Yeah.
So Ange is here. Back him. Let's see where we go.
I mean, it would be interesting to see if Ange does do well this season and the football does continue if he does get back next summer. Because, I look at Arsenal. It took us a long time to back a manager. Obviously, Arteta came in, struggled at the start. A lot of us didn't really understand why he was getting time, but they did back him when they believed in somebody. So that will be quite interesting to see. Let's touch on, obviously, James Maddison had a decent game today. He obviously got his 2 assists. He affected the game. His partnership with Son today was actually quite interesting. A lot of people even me personally, I thought, Maddison and Kane were going to have a really good partnership. Obviously, Kane left. Son has now gone into kind of that number 9 position today and looked really dangerous. So what's kind of your expectations for those two? Like, do you feel like they can trouble pretty much every team in the league? I think Spurs today, if they play like that against most sides, you cause problems for anyone, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think they've shown that so far that they can. And like a big day like today, especially Maddison's his first North London derby at the Emirates, and he comes and gets 2 assists. It wasn't a great performance like that, but just throughout this season, he's been really good for us. So yeah, I think the way these two are playing at the moment and the confidence they both have as well, like Son's 2 chances, especially the second goal, he's took it really well.
Really good finish, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm confident that with these two playing the way they're playing at the moment, that we'll go to places confident. Cool. And rightly so, because they're both quality players.
Okay, I've kept it quite,
Oh boy.
I've kept it quite easy for you so far. So we're going to go on to some more riskier questions now. I'm expecting some more wild answers. But based on today's result, cool. You've gone toe-to-toe with, obviously, Arsenal at the Emirates. Come away with a 2-2 draw. Potentially could have won the game. How big is the gap?
Between us?
Can you compete with the top sides? Let's say an Arsenal City. How close can you get to those guys right now?
When you say those guys, I don't have Arsenal City in the same wavelength.
Okay, cool. So let's say who are your top sides? Who are your top sides?
Like City's just here. City's in their own category.
City and then
City are in their, not and then City are in their own category.
yeah, exactly. So City and then who's in the people below? Because it's not you.
Like Arsenal and Liverpool, I guess.
Okay, so how far away are you from them?
There's a bit of a gap.
And should you be competing with them?
At this moment, I'd say no. I think like in a match we can, but like over the course of the season, probably not. I wouldn't be surprised, and even like depth-wise, like Maddison had a little injury today. Like my heart stopped for a bit because I was thinking if Maddison goes,
direct replacement, yeah.
Yeah, it's like who even comes in? Like people say Lo Celso or whatever, but even Kulusevski could go into that 10 role maybe. Yep. But like Maddison's someone really hard to replace. So
I think going back to what even we touched on earlier, I heard Harry Kane has a release clause in his contract. Levy was discussing that. I think based on what you see in the season, do you feel like he might go back and try attempting to come back? With Harry Kane on this side, does that take you to a potential league title?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. The buyback clause thing's just not worth it. Like when he said that, I was like, oh, whatever. It's just not worth it. Like I think Kane's gone, and a big part of that is because he wanted something new. Like there's no point coming now. Everyone that's part of his team now wants to be here and wants to push, and seems to be like buying into this Ange thing.
But do you feel like with him on the side, you guys would be able to win the league though? Surely.
Win the league?
Yeah, surely.
My
a
bro,
30 goal a season,
what
Kane.
What are you getting, bro?
On top of this side.
As long as Pep and City are here, that's it.
What about the second group? The Arsenal and Liverpool. Surely you'd be with them.
Yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We got something out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to the guys that are really gonna come and make some shots now. Anyway, Joe, Arsenal. Another disappointing result for us. Fulham at home, also some drop points. Wasn't really happy with the performance against United, really. It's difficult to really. How do we sum up the start to the season? I mean, even today was bleak.
Yeah, I really thought on Wednesday we turned the corner because we actually ran up the score and we actually got to like 2-0, but we kept our foot on the gas and we kept attacking and got more goals. But it seems like we're a bit back down to the way I felt about Arsenal this season is like something's not quite right tactically or with a few of the players. I'm not really happy. Some of the selection sometimes, some of the subs, but we're getting by. We're getting by games. We're getting by wins, innit? I'm obviously tired of a few players. I'm tired of like Havertz, for example. Like I already know that guy's cooked. He's done. Like you know what I mean. And then,
but you have no like still early doors for him, no?
No, he's done. He's not good.
You're giving him no grace.
No, because he's come in. He's 65 million, and he's not made an effect in the game. People were talking on Wednesday about how well he played. Yeah, he made a few runs and he won a few headers, but that's what he does. Like, he doesn't affect matches. Like he's a bit of a passenger in games, whereas Xhaka, who's playing that position, wasn't. He'd be in matches.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, but more often than not. And you can't afford to carry too many people in matches. But like Arteta at the start of the season, I weren't happy when he wasn't playing Gabriel and he was doing this Partey right back, White centre back thing. But to be honest, the box formation in midfield, it was actually good because it meant we had more control in midfield and we could have done with that today. But obviously he's changed that. We have the left wing situation. Obviously Martinelli's been injured, Trossard's been injured, so that hasn't helped. The striker situation, Jesus was injured in Nketiah, I'm sure we're going to get into in a minute. He ain't really been the answer. We've had problems all over the pitch and we just haven't had a consistent run of great performances. So I think our best performance this season in the league, I don't know, probably Palace away. Maybe even that was shaky because we went down to 10 men. We haven't had an 8 out of 10 performance in the league yet, and that's a problem. I think we need to get back into the groove because Man City's not far away. That game is not far away, and we need to be in top gear ahead of that game. Because if we don't perform in that game, if we perform like we did today or so far this season, we'll lose, and then we're well adrift. I think
there's different ways of looking at it. I mean, my personal opinion, again, as a Arsenal fan that experienced what we experienced last season, the season's very long. We saw how Man City started the last season, how they developed throughout the whole year and just peaked at the right time. I feel like this season is very hard for me to read into these individual results and games. There's obviously a lot of negatives, there's a lot of positives, but I feel like there's only really one game for me, as I've mentioned this throughout the whole of the start of the season, that we can really draw conclusions from, and to me, that's the Man City game at home. I feel like all of these games right now, we look at even the injuries that we have at the moment, I don't think we've seen really the final evolution of what this side really is. We almost saw it on Wednesday during the week, but we still haven't really seen the full side together. I think when Gabriel Jesus was injured at the start of the season, we didn't really see the attack functioning. You saw today, Declan Rice went off. Defensively, we were shambles. I just think it just every time we look like we're about to click, someone else goes down and someone else is out. So I feel like what I want to touch on as well, we're going to go into Arteta right now. Squad depth is something that is obviously, everyone has to have that now. Yeah, it's just like there's so much emphasis on having a big squad. I actually feel like for Arteta right now, that is causing him a lot of problems. As much as he has a lot of options to go for, actually it's causing us problems simply just because there's so many different players and so many different solutions, different combinations that you can try. How is he going to find this consistency and build these relationships between players? I mean, now is the time to do it. I guess we don't want to get to crunch time and have these situations where we don't know who can do what. Certain players haven't been playing, but him actually rotating this side, I feel like has caused us some problems, man. You're even looking at today, like Gabriel Jesus is playing left wing, Eddie Nketiah's up top. Like that's two guys. Obviously, we're gonna get onto this now, but that's two guys that are just not instinctive at all. How are you gonna win leagues with those two starting games? You get it? Like it doesn't really make sense. So, I mean, I feel like with Arteta, the game management today, I felt like was poor as well. Jorginho obviously was an enforced sub. I understand it. He obviously came on, but Jorginho can't play in a man-to-man pressing system. It doesn't really make sense. I feel like that's where he went wrong today. The second half is where we lost the game. And it's because he thought that we could keep pressing Spurs in the same way with Jorginho as our number 6.
Yeah. No, facts. No, that's life after Thomas Partey if he got sold.
No, let's not say life after Thomas. Let's not say life after Thomas Partey. Let's not say that. Because at the end of the day, let's discuss this here. Because at different points in the season, we're going to have injuries. Yeah. Right? No, we know we're going to have injuries. But the manager has to adapt, in my opinion. That's the point I
was going to come to. With the left wing thing, Jesus playing left wing. Look, not many teams have 2 left wingers that get injured in it. So I'll allow him for that because both your
Jesus can play left wing, but then Nketiah can't play up top at the same time. That's the problem.
That's a different issue, really. That's about Nketiah.
I don't think that's a different issue. I just feel like
all
right, cool. Let's take it this way. Yeah. No, but Joe, let's take it this way. Yeah, cool. You look at what he's done with Ramsdale, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Ramsdale was the keeper that was brought in when we were not in the top 4 yet. Obviously, the aspiration was to take the team from A to B, B in the top 4. Yeah. Now we're trying to get from B to C, which is the league title. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. He's taken Ramsdale out. He's put Raya in. Yeah. People say it's a cutthroat decision. I have no problem with my manager doing that. But he has to have the same energy throughout the whole team. And Eddie Nketiah, to me, cannot be a starter in games like this for a side that is trying to chase a Man City. It just does not make sense. No. And if Gabriel Jesus is fit, he should always be playing in that number 9. I don't understand why Reece Nelson was given a new contract, 100k a week, if he can't be trusted in games like this to start from, the start. It doesn't make sense. And I think Nketiah now has had 2 or 3 really disappointing games this season. I don't think he played very well against Man United at home. I don't think he played very well today at all. I think the only games really where Nketiah is going to be good is games where we're supposed to be on top. And even then, we still don't really get too much from him. That's the reality. I think Eddie Nketiah is a very good player. And for other teams, he still would be. But for us, and what we require, like
as a starter,
the fluidity in our attack that makes us pop, Eddie does not produce that. And as I said, as a backup striker, it would make sense.
Yeah.
It just in the games like today, it's very frustrating for me because you've got Jesus there ready to go. Why not play him? I just play him in the 9.
Then Jesus has a big chance at 1-0.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's like you can only have one guy like that. You can't have 2. You can't have. We have 3. We have Havertz as well.
We got Havertz, bro.
Do you know what I mean? So it's very frustrating right now, just like seeing
triplets, bro.
and really for Arsenal to go to that next level and be like what we were discussing earlier, the Man Cities, the Bayern Munichs that will just be ruthless and kill off teams. You don't even have to really be in the game. You can just win it in a moment. Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah cannot be your 2 strikers. They cannot be your 2 options. No. You have to have someone that's reliable in front of goal. Yeah. And even, I think, Gary Neville said a lot of bullshit today, yeah. But the one thing I did agree with him on was, you're chasing a goal in the last 10 minutes, yeah. I understand we're very measured with our approach. You put the ball into the box during the last 10 minutes, a lot more than you would during the rest of the game, yeah. We done that today. There's no presence in the box. There's no movement. There's no one that has that special ability to just find a bit of space or give you that moment really in the... Like, it really did look like today, and we've touched on it. Arsenal fans know. We've been crying out for a bagsman for a long time now. Yeah. Gabriel Jesus is a very, very good option to have.
I think he's a very good player.
Very good player. But you need the other side as well. You need someone else that's going to be able to come in sometimes and just give you that moment.
And if you're going to be in Nketiah where you're not getting really involved in link up, you're not really getting involved in the build up play, because there's times you'll see midfielders have the ball, sees Nketiah in front of him, and they'll look for other options. They're not going to give him the ball in certain positions. But if you're not going to be involved in a link up, when the ball is in the box and the goal is right in front of you, you have to be there and you have to put the
and they tried to say that he's a poacher. I saw many opportunities for a poacher to score today, and he did not score.
He's hungry. He's not got no food. Like, he's not eating. Like. That's the problem.
I think, as I said, both Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus can be part of a league-winning squad. I just don't think you can rely on both of those guys in one squad, and that's the issue. You can't have both of them. You have to choose one, and then you go and get a very good striker to be the main guy, and that's it. You get that's the bottom line.
In ideal world, Eddie's a third choice striker.
That is that. Well, I don't even know. I wouldn't even necessarily say that. In my opinion, I don't think he would actually be a bad backup striker. I just don't think you can have 2 backup strikers fighting for number 1. It just makes no sense. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Basically. So I think that it's hard for Arsenal right now, because at the end of the day, I feel like if Gabriel Jesus was playing and starting every single week, which realistically, if he's fit, he should be. Yeah. Arsenal do score goals. We play well. We saw that in the week.
Arteta needs to learn from today and not do that Jesus wing thing. Just play Nelson wing. Play Jesus through the middle. Let's just play our serious players like up front, and then I don't know what's going on with Rice. I hope he's fit, particularly for this City game.
If you were to get a striker right now to solve this particular issue, what would it be?
The one we want would be Ivan Toney in the next summer. But if you're talking about January, because the only problem with the striker market, there's not a lot of bagsmen out there that are available. The Vlahovic name always pops up as someone that could be available. But I don't think...
I think I'm just a proper striker, man. I feel like...
Someone like
we saw someone like... Listen, yeah, we saw Olivier Giroud cost us a league title in 15-16, yeah. Cool, the competition wasn't that great, but we've seen it. Yeah. We've had Lacazette now, yeah. We've now got Gabriel Jesus. You can't really...
No one's
he's not a clinical finisher.
His numbers, and his numbers weren't good.
And Nketiah, the same thing. I mean, Aubameyang was probably, the closest thing that we had to, recreating some kind of guy that could score, consistently and actually look like a threat.
And with him, we accepted that he weren't going to be involved in the build-up.
Which is fine, yeah.
He weren't great with the ball dribbling or linking up and stuff like that. But when he had the ball in that left space or in the box, he was scoring. And that's what you can get away with if you're a natural goal scorer. Someone like Toney can link up. He's not the most amazing at it. I feel like in our system, he'll be a bit better than he's...
I actually think Ivan Toney, as I said, we had this discussion during the week, but I feel like...
We don't have bibs, so be careful.
I'm not going to say nothing crazy, but I do feel like his all-round game is underrated to an extent. I think his passing is a lot better than people give him credit for, and I think sometimes when you have a specific build, so he's obviously, I don't know how tall he is, but he's a very tall player, bit of a physical presence. You get put in a box sometimes, yeah. Lukaku had an issue with this. He got into his own head and didn't want to be called a target man. I think Ivan Toney's now being... accused of the same thing. Being a target man, you're a goal scorer. That's not just what Ivan Toney is. If you actually watch him play, he's a lot better than what people give him credit for. And I think we'll see that if he goes to a top side. So I don't want to just put him in that box and say, he can't do link up play. In my opinion, he can. And he also has the passing ability to create chances for both of our wingers. So I would like to see him come in. I do feel like, if we weren't to go for someone like him, we are going to have to break the bank. You look at Evan Ferguson, it's going to be a crazy price. Someone like Osimhen, again, easily 100 million plus. So for us to actually get someone in that makes sense, it's going to be very difficult.
You have to buy someone is going to bag Tony, you kind of have that feeling he's going to bag. Someone like Osimhen, I still have doubts in this league if he'll bag.
Yeah.
And if you're going to spend that sort of money, you don't want to be in a situation where buying player and he's not.
I think, but yeah, last thoughts on today. I just say, people will be critical of Arsenal's performance today, yeah, but I think for 35 minutes, Spurs tried to play. And I think we showed a composure and patience in the press and with the way that we attacked. People will say that, yeah, we played emotional. I don't feel like we did. I feel like I've seen a new side to this Arsenal team this season that not a lot of people have really seen. But I believe the way that we defend now, the way that we approach certain games, we're not going hell-bent chasing after players and trying to press mad high up the pitch. We wait for the right opportunity and then we go steal the ball. After that is where the problem is. Because we don't take the opportunity. We'll steal the ball off a team 3 or 4 times and not be clinical or ruthless enough. And that's where the upgrade has to come. But the other side of it, Declan Rice being in the 6, we suffocated Spurs for a long time. It's when he went off that we had the problem. So I think one positive out of today is I would say Declan Rice is worth every single penny that we paid. I've seen that at the start of the season. As soon as he went off the pitch, you saw the incredible difference that it made to the team. So I think that's one positive that we have to take from today. Anything else before we move on?
I would take issue with one thing you said earlier. You said something about we'll be fine in your last season. Basically comparing it to last season, how it's a long season. One thing I would warn Arsenal is that you don't want to be too many points behind Man City early on in the season. For sure. The issue is Arsenal had trouble holding off City last season. We weren't that mature and they eventually caught us. But I don't think we're good enough yet to catch Man City if they have quite a big...
The thing is, so what do you feel like...
If they had an 8-point lead like we had, I don't think we're catching them. I think...
But that's what I'm saying. So what do you feel like we need to keep the gap?
So I think... Let's assume we draw. So what's the gap now? I think it's 4 points. Yeah, I think it's a 4-point gap.
18, you're 14.
And bear man, we played them in 2 weeks.
Draw. So let's assume we draw the game. That's a decent shout to make. 4 points is all right. Going into February, March, and then you can get rolling.
And I think we strengthen in January as well.
Yeah. If you're getting to a point where you have to win 2 games and they have to lose 2 games, you're in a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Because if it's become so out of your hands that even you beating them isn't enough to cut the gap significantly, then you're in a bit of an issue. So I think 4 points, 5, I can give you 5, but not any more than, you can't be 6 points or above. I don't think we're good enough to catch a big team yet. And we haven't even tried. We've never been in that situation. Remember, when we were trying to get top 4, we were trying to hold off teams, trying to hold off Spurs.
Yeah.
Now we were trying to win a title, we're trying to hold off City. We haven't been in a position where we've caught people yet. So I think that's something that I wouldn't put too much pressure on us to do. So let's not leave it too...
I don't want to leave it too late. As I said, I feel like the reason why I'm so on this Man City game in 2 weeks is mainly just because it's a mental thing for me. We haven't beaten Man City in the league since 2015, bro. It doesn't matter where you are. That's not acceptable, bro. West Ham are beating Man City. Do you get it? So it's just not... Bro, this is what I'm saying. So... That's the thing for me. It's if the team has not developed to a point where they can't beat a City side without Rodri, without KDB at the Emirates, then I've got no hope for the league this season. I'll be honest, I don't even want to be reactionary, but I will genuinely say if we do not win that game, I will not be backing Arsenal to win the league no more. That's facts, bro. You can't keep doing that. Do you get it? It means there's no... Because ultimately, that's who we're fighting against. And if we can't get across that barrier, to me, the same problem exists.
Yeah.
And I think that takes us on to the next topic anyway. We're going to discuss the Champions League now. If we look at Arsenal's chances for the Champions League, you look at a game like today. I mean, Champions League is all about moments. You have to win individual games, 2-legged ties. If you get chances like the chances that you got today, that few or far between, let's say we're playing like a Bayern Munich away. Let's say we're playing like at a Bernabeu. You might only get 1 or 2 opportunities. If they fall to Gabriel Jesus or Eddie Nketiah, we're not winning, bro. Them man need 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 opportunities to even just have a decent effort or goal. Do you get what I'm saying? So we are, me personally, I was confident before today, but I can't lie, after today, it reminded me that is a big problem for us,
Yeah, no. Especially if it's Nketiah up front. If it's Jesus up front, I have less worry because I feel like he's so silky and so on the other side of things that he can at least create. Eddie can't create.
I think we'll cause problems.
So Jesus against PSV was great because he was creating as well. The thing is, I actually think Arsenal have a good chance to win the Champions League, and maybe that's just Arsenal bias or something like that. But there's something telling me that if, say we're still in the competition, quarterfinals, say around March, April, and say the title is kind of out of our hands, and I feel like if we go full throttle for that Champions League, we can match up to a lot of good teams. I feel like away games, it can be difficult, but I feel like at the Emirates, I feel we can beat anybody. And I feel like there's not too many good teams out there in Europe. I know we're going to come on to the quality of teams in Europe, but I don't feel like too many good teams in Europe that will blow Arsenal away. Man City will probably be the only one. And I feel like in a one-off game, who knows, like you saw in the Community Shield. So I feel like we do have a better chance of winning the Champions League this year. It sounds crazy to say. Then a lot of
I'm
people
glad you
think.
said it, does.
No, let's not stick on. I don't want to say. I don't want to say on Arsenal for too long.
You're
Listen,
saying it, but it's so crazy to say that.
It might sound crazy, but it's true. I believe it.
what's crazy?
Arsenal can win the Champions League.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've already discussed why we won't. But anyway, listen,
We
let's
can win
let's park Arsenal to the side. Yes, Arsenal in the race. Cool, we might be able to win the Champions League. Who else do you feel like are the favourites?
Oh, Man City.
Bayern and City.
Man and City.
So after seeing Bayern play Man United during the week, are you convinced by them?
That wasn't like their best convincing performance. They let it slip towards the end, but I'm still like, I think they let it. They kind of took their foot off a bit.
Yeah.
But I think as a team, they're still ruthless enough and got enough about them as a team to push and go for that final.
Okay,
go for that CR trophy.
What about yourself, Joe? You said Man City again are the favourites.
Yeah, you make Man City favourites for any tournament they play in. Their team is just so stacked. Like, they've got so much power. They've got the rotation. I know they've got a few injuries now, but they've got the rotation to play a B team in the Champions League and still blow teams away. So
yeah,
I mean,
you say B team. I think this season compared to last season, I think a couple of the European sides would have probably closed that gap. I think Barcelona to me are dark horses in my opinion. We've seen them beat Real Madrid a few times last season and very convincingly, obviously beat them to the title, and they've strengthened further this season. I look at someone like Gundogan's coming in from Man City, got a lot of experience. Cancelo's a difference maker. João Felix, obviously a lot of quality. Players like Balde are still going, from strength to strength. They have a very, very solid team there. And I feel like with someone like Lewandowski up front, you're always in with opportunity. I think it's just, they just need to get through this group. Once they get to the knockout stages and with them, I feel like it's a little bit as well, has Xavi got like the tactical nous to defeat the best sides? Let's say they went against Pep now, for example, you feel like Xavi has that ability to do something against. We saw him struggle against United, but I do feel like they are dark horses though.
It'll remind him that I raised you.
Yeah.
Barcelona, in my opinion, Barcelona, their 11 is up there.
How do we feel about PSG?
I like PSG balance now, though. I
PSG got a good balance. I just don't feel like they don't have like
their midfield. They got runners now. Zaire Emery's a runner. Their attack. I like Koulibaly. I'm a fan of his.
I don't know.
He takes a few chances to score, but him, Dembele, and Mbappe. I think that's a very balanced front three. There's no people that don't track back. There's no people with poor work rate. Like Messi and Neymar were. Yeah. And I feel like they're quite physical. They're quite strong. I think they're in with a chance.
And if they can sort out their issues with Mbappe, I think PSG will be a problem for different teams. Whether they go on to win it, I'm not 100% sure. Are they?
They're Madrid.
Yeah, I was gonna say Real Madrid. I mean, I'd be very confident about Real Madrid if Vinicius Junior was fit and Courtois was fit. I think.
Up front.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid now.
Niggas play for Stoke.
I mean, you can never rule Real Madrid out, right? Because even when they've won it in the past few seasons, they haven't been the best side allegedly to everyone anyway. But they find a way. So, Jude Bellingham's coming. Not necessarily he doesn't play well for 90 minutes, but he provides moments, and that's what you need in the Champions League. So, I don't think you can ever really rule them out. I think if we were to talk about like players to watch, that who do you feel like is going to be, an unsung hero or a surprise?
This ain't your comp, don't worry.
Who do you think is really going to light up the Champions League?
I'll give you a name that people don't know about a lot. A guy called Benjamin Sesko. He plays for RB Leipzig. He just moved from Salzburg. He's a striker. He's from Slovenia. He's got a good goal record for Slovenia and back when he was in Austria. I think he scored in the first group game as well. I feel like Leipzig got a good team. Leipzig always make it out of the group stage. They'll play City. I think they've got actually a good team this year. I feel like when City go to Leipzig, I don't think City win that game. I feel like I think Leipzig they're tactically set up well as well. I think they'll make it out of the group stage. I think he's going to score quite a few goals actually. I think he'll be there or thereabouts.
That's an interesting shout. That one. I think Man City they have a squad where they can go to anywhere and be comfortable because defensively they're just
Leipzig last season.
I think where City have the edge on everyone, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's the attack. It's the defense, actually, in my opinion, that I feel like is streets ahead of other sides. You look at Bayern Munich last season when they came to the Etihad, Upamecano was terrible. Do you get what I'm saying? You go to Barcelona don't have the strongest defenders. You look at, I'm trying to go through like the big sides. PSG don't have like the greatest defense. Arsenal have a good defense, but Arsenal, man, you don't know what you're going to get from them. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's really where City have the edge on everyone else. And if your attack isn't an attack that can cause them problems, then realistically they're just going to walk all over you, man. We saw it last season. Like it's very difficult side to beat.
You all can't see it in a bad day.
Yeah, and you have to be able to take your chances when you get them. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult to beat City, but I think there's definitely a few more sides this year that will cause them, more problems. Just got to hope that you get a good draw, because that's what, the Champions League is.
You got to win your groups to get a good draw as well.
A point that I wanted to touch on in regards to the Champions League is, how do you guys feel like the quality of the teams are right now? We've seen the best teams in Europe previously. Let's say that if we were to go back 10 years, we had Barcelona, we had Real Madrid, Bayern Munich were at a good level. Atletico Madrid kind of came into the fold. The Premier League teams obviously still kind of up there. I look around Europe now, and there's not really I don't know if it's nostalgia or if it's just the actual level of football has dropped a little bit. The games seem a bit more underwhelming. They're not really as exciting. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
I think nostalgia, to be fair.
You think it's nostalgia?
I think we'll always go, it's not as good as back then. 10 years ago, we were what? 16? I think it's always nostalgia of these sort of things, that football's not as great. Of course, it's less individual ability based now, and it's a bit more team based for sure. But I still think there's a lot of quality teams, same way there was 10 years ago. That's my 2 pence.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
So the best sides now, you think they could hang with the sides back then?
I think this current City team would hang with any team.
Not just City though.
Who were Bayern?
I don't think if you look at this Bayern Munich side, they're not as good as the sides that they've had, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess I compare the Robben, Ribéry.
Yeah, if you look at it from that era, even Dortmund were around that time. I just feel there were sides then that just had. I think the best way to describe it would probably be they didn't have as many gaps in their squads. I feel like they were built to a point where they'd all kind of reached the culmination of, whatever they were trying to build, and got to the point where everyone was kind of competing with a peak side. Do you get what I'm saying? There's no building, there's no transition periods. I still feel like these bigger European sides right now are kind of going through that transition period. Obviously, COVID has long left us now, but I feel like a couple of the sides are feeling the effects. You look at clubs like Juve, for example, that are traditionally, very good sides. They're really struggling right now. Real Madrid, obviously, they're always there, but it's I still don't look at Madrid and see a Galacticos lineup. Do you get what I'm saying? I look at some of the players that are playing for them, and I don't see them as
Tuchumeni, Bellingham, Camavinga.
Yeah, but they're not do you know what it is for me? It's when you're buying players like Joselu to be your number 9. That's where I'm looking at Madrid, and I'm just saying it's not really. It doesn't feel the same.
Gareth Bale.
Yeah, man. That's the Real Madrid that I know. Were consistently buying the best of the rest. Do you get what I'm saying? From all the other leagues, whatever team it is, they could handpick a player from the Premier League and bring them to their side. Do you get what I'm saying? They're less likely to do that now. For whatever reason it is, that's what I'm saying. It's I just look at every single side, even Barcelona. Cool, they can attract great players, but they're in financial ruin right now. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Still building up. PSG, you look at them they're kind of they're rebuilding again. They've started kind of from scratch. They've got rid of obviously Messi. They got rid of Neymar. The new managers come in. Obviously they're on a different path now. So it's you go around each side, and I just feel they're all in this weird kind of stage right now. And until all of them get back to kind of that level, I don't feel like the Champions League is going to be as competitive as what it should be. And seems like Man City right now should really be capitalising on that and racking up 2 or maybe 3 Champions Leagues. The same way Real Madrid did when they won, 3 or 4 in a row. So,
and if City and Pep do that, they get another CEO this season, what are we saying about Pep? Or where do we stand on Pep?
In what sense, though?
Where does he stand on that list of managers?
I mean, he's been top. I don't really get where else he could go. I think obviously, do you know what it is? Obviously, my criticism of Pep was, he hadn't won a Champions League outside of Barcelona. I think that's the biggest criticism. Last season, he won his Champions League. There's no more questions you can ask of Pep. I think the only one would be, can he do it at a side that doesn't have unlimited funds? We don't know that yet. Bayern didn't have unlimited funds, but he inherited a treble-winning side, and he didn't win the Champions League. So that is a question that you could potentially ask. But he went and dominated the league over there. So, yeah, the only question you could really ask is that. But does he need to do that, though?
He doesn't need to do that.
No one does that. Even ballers don't go to a lesser club.
Yeah, just to prove. Yeah,
that's the thing.
Let me take a pay.
That's the worst. That's what I'm saying. It's
move to a smaller house just to show you guys.
Yeah, you can't use that point for Pep, and then when it comes to the Messis and Ronaldo, say, but could they do it for Sevilla?
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't really make sense.
The team they play for was better because they're in it. Barcelona were better because Pep was the manager. Bayern Munich the same thing, even though he didn't win. The point I wanted to make about the nostalgia thing, the reason why I don't think it's nostalgia is because we all think Man City's going to win the Champions League, right? If you had to put money on it, if we had to put a $5 on it, you don't want to lose your money. You'd put Man City on it. But 10, 15 years ago, particularly 10 years ago, we didn't always have an idea of who's going to win. We all had different picks for who's going to win the Champions League. I remember it was 2012 And the semi-final was Chelsea v Barca and Real Madrid v Bayern Munich. And all of us in school were debating, like, who's going to make the final? Who's going to make the final? And I was convinced it's going to be an El Clasico final. It's going to be the biggest game of all time.
Yeah.
Everyone had their picks. And it ended up being a Chelsea-Bayern Munich final. Such the quality of the teams out in that semi that whoever's necessarily the favourites, they didn't make it through. There was enough teams in those times to make it difficult for you to put a pick on who's going to win. I feel like if we had, like, look, last season's semi-final, was it Man City v Inter? Sorry, Man City versus, who did Man City play in semi-final? Real Madrid, but they were weakened. And then you had Inter versus Napoli.
AC.
Inter versus AC. That's not the most quality semi-final you have. And you've got a final where Inter's in it. And bless Inter, they're a good team and all that. But they shouldn't be making the final of the Champions League.
You know what, I get it. I think the draws haven't been great the last few seasons.
The draws
I think
have to help as well.
I don't like the fact that, you know, kind of like your semi-final opponent when you're playing your quarterfinal. I don't think that makes sense. I think last season we saw there was a clear weaker side of the draw and there was a stronger side. So I think naturally you're going to get, you know, a weaker side in the final. I think Real Madrid, I mean, you look at them, I understand kind of the point that you made, but it's like when Real Madrid won it and Benzema obviously kind of led them to that, no one really thought that they were going to go the whole way. Look at the run that they had. They beat PSG, they beat Chelsea, they beat Liverpool. You know, the sides that they beat to actually get there, no one really predicted them to win it. So I still feel like those matchups are there. I just don't feel like they have the same gloss as what they did before, innit? And whether that's to do with because, you know, certain players have left, we're not seeing as many players in their peak going up against each other. I think the rivalries aren't there as well. Yeah. That's even another point that we haven't even touched on. When it actually comes to rivalries, I mean, we look at the World Cup final, for example, right? The reason that game kind of went to a different level was because you had Mbappe going up against Messi. That's a juggernaut match. You get what I'm saying? You look now, who really is going up against who? Like, unless we were let's say Man City played PSG, Haaland versus Mbappe is a good matchup. Do you get what I'm saying? How many of those matchups do we have though? Yeah. How many do we have? Like, if we actually were to go around it, like even Barcelona against Sainz is not really a matchup because Lewandowski's not really in his peak right now. Like, who really is there that
City are on a real advantage because they're right in their prime, and then you've got teams just before their prime. They haven't hit their prime like that. Barcelona, like Arsenal, players like teams like that, and even you can even put Napoli, people like that in the argument. You've got teams like Real Madrid who have had their time and they're trying to rebuild and like they've had their time a bit past their prime. Yeah, Man City are in the most ideal position to just keep racking up Champions Leagues right now because I really don't see real competition unless there's like a Cinderella story. That's why I'm saying like maybe Arsenal have a chance or I don't know, maybe Barcelona like you said. But I feel like City are really in the prime of their years, and if they want to rack up wins and trophies, this is the time. And is something telling me that they might just do that. And it's depressing.
I mean, yeah, I definitely hope not.
Like, you're just winning every tournament.
I definitely hope not. I mean, next season, I think the format changes, right? That should even be interesting. To be fair, what's the format again?
So it's like 36 teams, but you don't play everyone. You play like a certain amount of teams. And the top 8 go through, and then the middle 8 do a playoff.
I mean,
it's a Super League basically.
Do you think that would be easier to win or harder to win? Because it's like right now, the Champions League difficult to win, but again, you can get a lucky draw and make it to a final where you can win a one-off game. We saw it with Inter last season.
It's harder to win because the aim is to make there be more bigger matches earlier on in the competition.
Yeah.
So it's not just pot ones facing pot fours. You know who's going to win. So you're more likely to see your Man City versus PSG. So you can see your rivalries in October, not just in March, April. So it's obviously technically it'll be harder to win because you're facing bigger teams early. So you can see more upsets. You can see more teams shocked and get knocked out.
Yeah.
And also, it's at a point where you're playing these big matches where teams trying to get into gear. So you might not be in top form like where you are in February, March. So you might get caught out by a few teams that you shouldn't be losing to. So it could throw up a few upsets.
You're right.
So I'm interested to see how it will go.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
And I think it'll be 5 teams from the Premier League and Champions League next season possibly. So it's another aim for Tottenham, I guess.
Do you feel like
one season in CL? Look at you.
A couple of people have touched on, you know, the Saudi League might be able to, you know, end up having a place in the Champions League. Do you guys feel like that's realistic? I feel like it's something that UEFA, because you know what it is, when it comes to UEFA, you can't really trust them with anything. If something becomes a threat, they're always looking for a way to involve them to stop that threat. So it wouldn't surprise me if they went to you know, the Saudi League, had a meeting with them and said, you know, the winner of your league, let's bring them to the qualifiers. You know, but that's even worse for European football because the reality is like right now, what's probably stopping a lot of players going there is the fact that they can't play Champions League. So once you put that on the table now, it's like a mass exodus from here, really, isn't it? Because there's a lot of players already going. You saw like someone like Gabby Vega, yeah. How old is he again?
Like 2021?
Kid.
Apparently he's like 21, yeah. The guy had European clubs after him, Prem clubs after him, made the switch to Saudi. Like, imagine now you could play Champions League at a Saudi club. Like, bro, you're gone. Do you get what I mean? That's a big threat.
Play Chelsea there, Saudi clubs.
How do you feel Newcastle
against
do?
it, though.
How do I feel Newcastle did? That's the thing. That's a good question. I haven't actually thought of them. I think around the 16 maybe. I think
Round of 16, you think they come out of the group?
Oh wait, no,
That's a very tough group, you know.
Quite tough, you know. But I think that's a ceiling. Their group is quite tough, but I feel like at home they got to win the home games. Because I feel like on the road you're not going to get too many wins. I think they got AC Milan, PSG. I don't see them winning any of
I think Newcastle will definitely struggle to score goals in the Champions League. I think we watched the game against AC Milan. They just looked void of ideas. Like, it looked very, very, I don't know. They just looked a little bit out of their depth. They obviously defensively, they have the ability to, scrape results and whatnot. But they won 8-0 today, but that's against Sheffield United, brother. You get? We saw them play AC Milan away. And the rest of their group, as I said, there's no Club Bruges in there. There's no young boys.
They're the Club Bruges.
You get me? You're violating, bro. I said Newcastle or Club Bruges. Oh my days, but yeah. Cool, let's move on. Rondo or nuts? Anyone got anything?
If you're talking about Newcastle, I'll go then. So obviously we saw the game today, 8-0, yeah. They won against Sheffield United. I looked at the lineup before the game. I was quite interested who they started up front. I was like, okay, fine. Callum Wilson starting up front, cool. Isak's been increasingly either playing on the wing for Callum Wilson to play up front, or you've changed the colour already.
Wait.
Isak's been playing on the wing a lot. I feel like he's not fully trusted in that 9 position. What I want to put forward to you guys, I don't think, and I've vouched for Isak for years. I don't think he'll ever be a world-class 9. And the reason why I think that is a number of reasons. We can go through the main one. Number one is goal scoring. Okay, so the most league goals ever scored in a season is 17. That's what I said. That last year he got 10. I think he's on 2 this season. I don't think he's ever gonna get 20 in this league. I think that's sort of, to be a world class number 9. I think you have to get 20 in the Premier League. That's sort of the big test. If can you get 20 in the hardest league in the world, I think that's the main test for that. I don't think he's ever gonna really reach that level. Might be to do with the team play, but I think it's the style of play he is. What Isak is to me is, if Isak was playing football 20 years ago, 25 years ago, he'd be a quality second striker. The comp I made, because I've been watching Isak since like the Euros and just a bit before that, was Carney. When Carney was at Arsenal, he played 9, but he wasn't really a prototypical 9. He's very silky, very good at link up. Even though he's quite tall and gangly for to be like a target man kind of 9, that wasn't his game. He wasn't a guy who would put crosses in the box and get headers. He was a guy who used to drift out of the box and link up play with others. Carney's best performances will come when he's playing on a 4-4-2 with like an Henry. I feel like Isak isn't a good lone striker because despite all the skills he has on the ball in terms of his dribbling and his flair, he doesn't have the instincts of a striker to the point where he can be a target man and get on the end of crosses in the box. He can make runs in behind. He can get 15, 20 goals, because there will be points, and there has been points in Isak's career where he hasn't scored. His scoring has fluctuated. Like at Sociedad, his season he gets 17, the next season he gets like 9 or 8. And then he gets 10, he might get 12 one year, you won't get 20. That's the point I'm making. So I feel like this is why I say Callum Wilson should start 9. Because Callum Wilson isn't as dynamic as Isak as a footballer, and fine, I'll give you that. But he gets goals. At the end of the day, being a good striker is about getting goals.
So I think
getting numbers. And if you were to play Isak 9 for Newcastle, very same team, and then keep the same team and put Wilson 9, Wilson will score more goals.
Yeah, I think Wilson might score more goals, but it's just like, you look at the contributions to the team. I mean, it's the same reason. It's the same reason that we vouch for Jesus sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. It's a Jesus conundrum. So the reason why Pep stuck Jesus out wide is because there are qualities you'd want Jesus to bring to your team. He links up well. He's great at dribbling. He creates for other people. Jesus is a world-class dribbling 9. He's not a world-class 9. So he's a world-class at dribbling. He might be the best dribbling 9 in the world, to be honest. He's one of the best. I don't really know 9s that are better at dribbling than Jesus.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it land. I have to think about it, but I'm gonna let it land. Because I was about to say the light's already red. I can't change the whatever colour in it.
But no, in terms of link up, he's up there. If you're just ranking it in turn individual attributes, and that's where Isak stands well as well. That goal for whoever scored against Everton, where he's just twisting up everybody.
Yeah,
there are not many people in the world that are 9s that can do that.
But is this?
There are
I want to ask you though, before you finish here. But I want to ask you: is this something that you thought last season, or is it something that you've kind of noticed the last few games?
It's something I've noticed since the end of last season. So it's something, I've vouched for him. I thought he should come to Arsenal, even though I did have reservations about his goal scoring output.
Do you feel like Isak at Arsenal would be an option though?
What, to buy now?
If we bought him back then,
No,
do you
I
feel like
wouldn't buy
having
him now.
Saka and Martinelli on the side of him, do you not feel like that would make him a lot more effective? Because the problem that I have with Newcastle right now and Eddie Howe, and I said this based on their recruitment in the summer, I look at the midfield, I look at the structure of the particular team, and you look all throughout kind of the way that they play right now. They don't build up from the back. There's no real like chance creator in that side, and there's no real like, you say Callum Wilson's a goal scorer, cool, but he can be quite easily nullified by the better teams. So when they go to these bigger games, when they go to the Champions League, Callum Wilson's not causing problems for teams like AC Milan, bro. When he plays against Arsenal can nullify Callum Wilson. Do you get what I'm saying? My problem with Newcastle right now is out of all those three things that I listed, you have to kind of have one at least. You should have all three in reality if you want to get to the level that they want to get to. They want to compete with the big sides. They want to be a top 4 team. In a couple of years' time, I'm assuming they're going to want to go for league titles. That's kind of what the new owners are looking for. So I get your point with Isak. I just feel like if that's the striker that they've invested in, they've spent £70 million on him, you have to build around someone in this Newcastle side. And right now, you look at it, who is the guy to build around? Realistically, it's Isak, or it's going to be like a Bruno G, but Bruno G's a number 6.
But then you need your wingers to be able to score goals.
But that's my point. So I'm saying, like, rather than blaming him, I don't feel like he's really the issue. Yeah, you might say he's not like a goal scoring number 9 or whatever, but I just feel like if you're going to spend 70 mil on a striker like that, you have to kind of gear the team to like whatever his strengths are, innit? And they haven't really recruited for that.
But I just think he hasn't shown the goal scoring level, which is why Wilson's been coming into the team.
No, I hear that, but I'm saying to you, like, longer term.
Like, long
What
term.
would you say? Okay, so if we was to go longer term now, yeah, we know Newcastle don't like, they've got a style of play, but as I said, to really go to the level that they want to go to, they're gonna have to implement different things now. Do you feel like they build around Isak, or do you feel like they just like go with someone else and they play a different style?
I think they just build a football team. I think they just buy players for the positions.
Well, obviously they're gonna build a football team.
I don't think they. I don't think they just pick a particular player like Isak. Let's build around him. Let's buy a winger that can suit his skill set, or a right winger that suit his skill set. They're playing Anthony Gordon and Almiron right now on the wings. Or I think Harvey Barnes started today. They're just buying. Harvey Barnes can get goals in this league and he can get you 10 goals. Let's say Almiron has shown he can get goals in fits and spurts as well. Gordon can get goals as well. They're not. I don't think they're buying players specifically for Isak to feel more comfortable to do.
But
do less of the link up.
But that's
and
the
play in
thing.
the 9.
It's like typically though, when you spend that amount of money on an attacking player, usually they're not someone that's coming in just to fill in like a little gap. Like, because when Newcastle bought him, they bought him before a lot of these other guys that they bought, like Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon. They all either came in at the same time or they came in after. So I'm looking at it.
The thing is, Isak to me isn't when Man City bought Aguero. For me, he's when Man City bought Adebayo. I feel like Isak ain't the 9 to win you the title. And I feel like, I'm not saying it's a stopgap because
that's what I'm saying though.
It's a stopgap, but I feel like Isak's not this brazy player that you have to build your whole team around him, because you could hypothetically spend a lot of money building your team around him. You still get 13 goals and you didn't get your title. So I feel like you need a striker you're more assured of getting goals. If I'm Newcastle, I'm throwing as much money at Tony as I can. Well, not to gamble with, but to play for him. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's a guy who can get you goals regardless of what wingers you have around him. Yeah. I don't like strikers that you say, I need this winger, I need that winger.
Yeah,
like
but that's
unlocking thing,
and that's my point. So I'm saying, like, with Newcastle right now, they're in a position where I feel like in a couple months' time or towards the end of the season, they're gonna have to make a decision. Did they turn Isak into a winger full time and just invest in him there, which I feel like he would be effective out wide, yeah. Or do we build an attack around him? That's like, that's the question, isn't it? And I just feel like I look at Newcastle again. I just don't feel like they play the style of football that's gonna extract the best out of Isak at number 9. So it's hard to judge him right now in reality.
But to your question beforehand about if he went to Arsenal, how would you feel about that? Like, do you feel more confident that he'd get 20 goals a season if he's playing with Saka and Martinelli?
The one thing before you answer that, yeah, with Isak, I think it's slightly different to Gabriel Jesus, because I look at Gabriel Jesus here and we talk about the range of finishing. We talk about his composure in front of goal. The guy never scores from outside of the box. Like, there's all of these things that you look at and he's a very limited finisher, right? So naturally, he's just not the greatest goal scorer. I look at Isak and I don't see those same things. Like, he has good finishes in the locker, bro. He has range. He has the range of shooting. He has ball striking. He has the composure. We've seen him score goals from outside of the box. So I don't feel like that. There's a lot more to work with there. If you're a top coach, you can extract that out of him. Do you get? You look at, like, this is a mad extreme example, but someone that gets compared to is Thierry Henry, right? Yeah. When he first came into Arsenal side, look how long it took him to score his first goal. Look how long it took him to even get going, right? So I feel like at his age, there's still a long way for him to go, a lot of time to develop. someone like Gabriel Jesus, yeah, cool, he might be a good person to compare him to in terms of numbers, but in terms of if you actually look at the attributes of how they're both going to develop, I don't think Jesus is ever going to be a good goal scorer or a good finisher. Do you get? I feel like Isak has the qualities to get to that level. It's just, does he have the right people around him? Does he have the right manager to get that out of him? That's the question. I don't think Eddie Howe's that guy. And Newcastle is not the right team
Eddie
either.
Howe's fine. Eddie Howe's fine.
Eddie Howe is not, but we don't know.
It's fine for Newcastle, but
yeah, but we're talking about if you're going to get the best out of these, like if you gave Eddie Howe, like the team that Arsenal have, for example, and you told him, develop all of these guys into world-class players, are you confident that Eddie Howe could
Eddie
do
Howe's
that?
not better than us, so no, I wouldn't.
I'm not saying better, but do you, because that's kind of the thing that we're talking about now. Can he take Isak to that level?
The thing is,
as a coach, we don't know that yet, because Howe doesn't have any examples of
Isak
that.
gets that level anyway, is where my doubts are, innit? Because I feel like if you don't have the capability of getting a serious number of goals, you're always going to be limited as a striker, and you're always going to be compared to like your Jesus.
But that's what I'm saying. But again, I'm saying to you, I do feel like he's capable of doing that, even though he hasn't ran. The reason I say he's capable is because we've seen the range of finishes that he has. So we know if he gets
his question, you answer his question then. So
I feel like at Arsenal, if the team was geared to create chances for Isak, his movement is a lot better than the strikers that we have, by the way, which is another reason why I feel like our strikers don't score a lot of goals. They don't actually move. They don't make runs in behind. They're not smart in the box. We have players to find them. You look at Fabio Vieira. Saka's a very good creator. Odegaard, he is a good creator at times, but he needs a striker that's gonna do more and make better runs for him to find. Martinelli, he's hopping in his creator bag as well. If there was a striker that was making the right runs and had good finishing, they are going to score goals in that side. So I do feel like Isak would score goals for us. He's not going to score goals for Newcastle, but he will score goals for us.
His tendency to drift and link up and get involved.
I don't think you do need to do that for him to score goals. So that's the thing.
I think you do.
I don't think you do.
You ain't got to limit him.
I don't think you do,
in
bro.
The box. You need a guy.
But that's what I'm saying. But these are all things, though. These are all things that as a young striker, I feel like young players these days, yeah, like we expect them to be at a level that they shouldn't really be at by the age of 20. How old is he?
I'm sure he's like 26. I'm about to check this guy.
Yeah, because I'm looking at him. I'm looking at it like it's like, how old is this guy? Because I'm looking at it like he's like 24 or something. If he's 26, then you know what? Forget everything I just said.
All right, okay, fair. He's 24.
He's 24, yeah. So we're about to enter the prime years, but this is like the crucial part of his development, right?
Yeah.
Where he needs a manager to work with him on these things or tailor him into the type of striker that he's going to be. Right now, Eddie Howe is not going to do that, bro. Like, he's asking him to do something that might not necessarily be his strengths. That's not good for a player's development. And sometimes as a manager, if you're building something long-term, Newcastle don't need success right now. But if he's going to be part of the long-term plan at Newcastle, they need to mold him into the number 9.
Aguero for you, yeah, in this build.
It doesn't necessarily need to be the Aguero, but again, you look at the type of finishes that he actually has in the locker. There's no reason why Isak can't score 20 goals, bro. If he's with the right coach and someone that can actually teach him to be patient in the box, get into this position, move like this. He's an intelligent player. He can do that. Why can't he score those goals? Like, that's the and Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus, who we were talking about. Again, we'll go back to them because we're comparing strikers that can't score goals. Yeah. Their finishing is just not good, bro. Like, if you actually look at the technique of the way that they shoot, the composure, again, same issue I had with Lacazette. They all have things in common. Isak doesn't fit into that category, in my opinion. So I think let's just wait and see how it develops. I don't think he's under the right coach or in the right setup. I don't think Newcastle play the right way for us to really see the best of Isak. Whether that's going to hamper his development or if he'll get to see him, we don't know. But I think that's probably a good place to leave it for this week. That's the Rondo. This might be the last time you guys see me host. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully he doesn't have to come back. We're not seeing Marcus for 6 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But fantastic show this week, guys. Thank you.